All right, so now I'm recording, and Isa, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, it's correct. It's
Isa, yeah,
Isa.
thank you for joining me. I actually canceled last time, so sorry about that. And
No worries.
so we're doing today now. And actually, before we begin, I was seeing the news. There was a typhoon Ragasa. Did you have any
Yeah.
damage from that in your part of
Um.
Taiwan? Or
Oh, so
Philippines? Philippines,
I'm in the Philippines. Yeah.
right?
So far there was very heavy rain and wind earlier, and there's still a wind now, but thankfully the rain has stopped. So it looks like in here in Quezon City at least where I live, the storm's impact won't be that great.
Okay, cool. Well, actually, so you sent me a updated bio, which I'm about to read
Yeah.
now. Your
Sure.
first name is Isa, and your last name is pronounced Lorenzo.
Yes, Lorenzo. That's correct.
Okay. So this is the updated bio. Isa Lorenzo's fiction has been published in PRISM International, Mud Season Review. Let's see, Samjoko Magazine, and Likhaan Review. Uh, Let me just go with the old one.
Okay.
She has an MA in creative writing, prose fiction from the University of East Anglia. And how do you pronounce that word?
East Anglia.
Anglia. Well, she was awarded the Malcolm Bradbury Memorial Bursary and won the UEA Orion Short Story Prize. She has attended national writing workshops in Silliman and how do you pronounce these two words?
Silliman and hold on, let me bring up my bio. Uh, UP, Silliman and Iligan.
Okay. Isa has just started to learn calligraphy. She also climbs mountains wherever she can. Are there many mountains in the Philippines?
There are.
Okay.
So we're in the Pacific Ring of Fire, so there are a lot of volcanoes and a lot of mountains as well.
And what's the tallest mountain in the Philippines?
So that would be Mount Pulag in Benguet in northern Luzon.
And did you climb that one?
Yeah, I have. It's actually depending on the trail, it can be a relatively easy or an intermediate climb. And I've climbed two out of the four trails.
All right. And so, Isa, before you begin your excerpt, can you just say your name and then you just go ahead and say your name, the title of the story, and then go ahead and read the excerpt.
All right. So I'm gonna start now.
Yeah, just say your name, title of the story, and then go ahead and read the
Okay.
excerpt.
Okay. Isa Lorenzo, Buhawi. It was a hot summer day, the kind where the sun seared your skin and made you sweat as soon as you stepped out of the bathroom. Esther was very self-conscious. She'd already changed outfits twice. Would Rod like the pink miniskirt or the black or the white dress better? She looked good in both, although the white dress showed off her tan arms and legs. But they were meeting at Luneta. What if they sat down on a bench? Then her dress would be ruined. She would have to bring a shawl, or at the very least, a piece of paper, something to keep her dress from getting dirty. She looked back at the pink miniskirt spread on her bed, then shook her head. She'd take the risk. After all, it wouldn't rain today. Two streets over, on the Alina Esquinita, Christelle had just woken up from her nap. She was 6 years old, with gangly limbs and hair that refused to lie flat. Be a good girl and stay inside, her mother said. I'm just going to see Auntie Nina. Christelle nodded. She took out her red ball and began to play. The heat inside their one-room shanty was stifling, so she opened the door, just a crack. She began to bounce the ball over and over against the rough concrete wall. 20 minutes away, Gene Romero strolled through the Moriones gate. Today was the day. He was sweating heavily, partly because of the heat, but mostly because of the fear and excitement thrumming in his veins. His heart was crashing against his chest. He looked out into the endless blue of the sea. The sun glimmered on top of the waves, making them sparkle. It was such a pretty sight. He'd planned everything down to the last second. He would fill his pockets with stones and walk slowly into Manila Bay. After that, he would let the waves carry him away. If you saw Gene in a crowd, you wouldn't remember his face. He hadn't left his house in 3 months. He had his groceries delivered. It used to be enough, logging into Facebook every day, posting quotes from Rumi and liking his friends' posts. But yesterday, he woke up and realized that he was all alone. No one cared whether or not he was still alive. Why not end it? What else was there to live for? That's it?
Okay, cool. And so, The first question, these are all just general questions, so take them exactly how you please. So the first question
Sure.
is, what is your process of writing fiction?
So I try to write in the morning after writing a morning page and reading either a craft or philosophy book. I write for an hour on work days and try for 2 hours on weekends. So when it comes to writing fiction, I follow my curiosity. Whenever I see something interesting, I write it down and I often clip or save news articles that strike me.
And do you start on a pad first and you write in pencil or pen, or do you just go right to a tablet or a computer?
Oh no, I write straight on Scrivener. So I find that I write faster on a computer than when I'm writing longhand. But I do write longhand for morning pages.
And do you write both in English and Filipino, I guess, or do you only
Filipino.
write in English?
So I write primarily in English, but as you've noticed with Buhawi, I do try to make it clear that I'm writing as a Filipino from the Philippines. So you will see a lot of Filipino references as well as parts of dialogue in Filipino in many of my stories.
All right. And then the second question is, what is the story about?
So Buhawi is about a water spout, how it upends a group of people's lives. So each person has their struggles and they're all impacted in some way by the Buhawi sudden appearance.
And when you started writing this story, how did you like? Did you start off with the title first, and then it just came from there? Did you already have an idea of like an idea somewhere later in the story, and you develop it from there? Like, how has the creation of the story worked?
So I mentioned before that I often clip or save news articles that strike me. So Buhawi actually started as like a tiny news item about a Buhawi or water spout. That's why I was so intrigued, because these are actually really rare occurrences. And I think I've only seen one once in my whole life. So I started thinking, what would happen if people saw Buhawi and how would it affect their lives? And then I also set a challenge for myself to write a short story about a number of people from an omniscient point of view. So I'm glad that it all came together in this one story.
And just final question on that: is there any kind of cultural significance to those water spouses? They happen so infrequently.
I think there sort of the significance of the buhawi or the water spout in the story is just when you see something like a force of nature, it can sometimes change the course of your life, right? So I'm not going to spoil it, but you see with Jean and with Christelle, like the buhawi definitely alters their life. For the couple, it just sort of emphasizes what was already there. So I like the way that forces of nature can really change the course of your life.
Okay. And then the next one, what do you feel makes, again, these are very general questions, however, answer however you want to. What do you feel makes for a successful short story?
So I think the combination of a gorgeous language and a gripping plot. I read somewhere that a good short story needs to be like a one-two punch. It should knock you out right away. So unlike in a novel, you can't create tension over a large number of pages. There isn't really a lot of room for development. So you need to hook your reader as soon as possible.
And about, if you could remember, about what age did you begin writing short stories?
Oh, short stories. I would say I actually started writing fiction later in life. So probably in college, but I didn't start writing seriously until I was in my mid to late 20s.
And do you do like fiction and essays, or do you only stick to, do you do nonfiction and poetry, or do you only stick to fiction?
So I mostly stick to writing novels now, actually.
Uh,
But I still write the occasional short story, and I will write the occasional essay. I've published all three. Oh, well, no, all two. Sorry, both essays and short stories. So very much open still to all three forms. But I can say right now that I'm concentrating on writing a novel.
all right, cool. Good luck on that. And then the next
Thank you.
one, uh, what tip would you give on, uh, well, what tip would you give on writing a successful short story?
Okay, so to write a successful short story, I think you really need to have something to say, first of all, and then you need to think about how you're going to compress whatever you want to say or write in a form that's perfect for the short story. Not all plots lend themselves well to short stories. So you also need to think, can I write this narrative over a short number of pages? Do I have enough of a gripping plot? Is it enough to easily hook the reader and to sustain their interest for just a short period of time?
And as of now, since you're writing novels, can you think of a tip that you would give on writing a novel?
Yeah, definitely persistence and habit. So in a novel, unlike in a short story, it can take years, right? A short story, I think some authors have been known to write them over a course of a day. Some people take weeks or maybe even months. But with a novel, I think it's really about persisting over the long game, showing up to do the work day in, day out, even when you're tired or bored. You still need to sit down in front of your computer and write.
All right. And then can you name a successful short story that you thought was exemplary and why?
Okay, so the example I'm going to give is not a short story. It is a huge, long novel, but I still think it's an exemplary example of an omniscient point of view. This is Leo Tolstoy's Anna Karenina. So I love it so much. It's a tragedy as well as a commentary on 19th century Russia, peppered with instances of gossip, which I really enjoyed. So I went into this thinking that it would be like a serious highbrow classic, but I enjoyed reading it so much because of all the instances of gossip that were in there.
And actually, I think a lot of videos on the Philippines from TikTok. I actually have seen a lot of TikToks from the Philippines. But just so they may be able to look it up, maybe, can you think of a well-known Filipino writer that's alive or dead that they might want to check
Mhm.
out?
Okay, so first, I'm going to recommend my friend Lisa Victoria. So people who love speculative fiction should definitely check her out. She has a number of books published both locally and by Tuttle internationally. And then second, I'm not sure if her books are available internationally, but I would also recommend Cristina Pantoja Hidalgo. She is a Filipina novelist and she writes very movingly about Filipina women's lives.
Do you have a title of one of her books?
Okay,
That maybe
so
in
I
English. That
recommend,
may be in English.
yeah, it's English. So both Eliza, Victoria, and Cristina Pantoja Hidalgo write Philippine fiction in English, which is why I recommended them. So for Eliza, I would recommend her short story collection, A Bottle of Storm Clouds. And for Cristina Pantoja Hidalgo, I would also recommend her short story collection, Catch a Falling Star.
All right, and actually that's it. So before we go, do you want to give a shout out? So anything you're working on, anything that anyone you want to say thank you to, or wherever, either way. So do you want to give a shout out to anything, anyone?
Well, I would definitely want to thank my mom for supporting my literary journey all these years, especially for lending me the money so I was able to go to grad school. And I would like to thank the people who continue to read me and who read my stories in places like Samjoko. So we writers very much appreciate our audience, and whenever we write a story, we always hope that it will connect with someone and that someone will enjoy reading it.
All right, and thank you so much. And that's actually it. So again, Isaac, thank you for joining me. And I'm going to stop recording now.
All right.
Let's see.
Thank you very much as well.